In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to animate stuff with inside widgets. So see how that score is like bouncing up and down, and the little progress bar on the left is sort of going crazy. But yeah, and if you want to stick around at the end, I'll show you how to connect that with event dispatchers. So that's just a little bit extra, but the main part of this tutorial, I'll show you how to animate text and stuff and progress bars in a widget. So animating in widgets works pretty much the same as the way it works in programs like Premiere Pro or video editing software, or even like timelines on Blender. So if we bring this text in here, this is just going to be a really simple animation that I'm going to do. And make it a bit bigger. So that's just a text block. I'm just going to show you quickly the timeline. So see over here, text block, go down to animations, animation, and add one. Now this animation, that is what this animation is called, right? So if we go add, it's going to ask us what we want to animate, and we want to animate this text. So we're going to add, that's the text block, add render opacity. And now look, we've got this timeline. So you want to get this blue, you want to drag it across. Let's make it 1 second, 1.5 seconds, right? So this is at 0 seconds, this blue circle, and it goes all the way up to 1.5, right? So see this blue circle, it's at render opacity 1, which is full opacity. If we put it at 0, the text block will disappear. Right, let's put it back to 1. Right, it's like key points really. So if we drag along to 0.5 and we press here to make a key point, that's going from 1 here to this blue circle to 1. Right, so if we put this first one at 0, it will fade into 1. See, so it's very simple. Like it's like a timeline. And these dots here are your key points, basically. Keyframes. So I don't know why I'm saying key points yet. Keyframes. So that was just a really simple basic one. So that's your circle. It's on 0. Go to the next circle. It's on 1. If we drag it along to 0.75 and then press another keyframe and put that to 0 again, it will fade in and out. So that's a very simple animation, but we're gonna delete that. I just wanted to show you that how the keyframes go across, and to make a new keyframe, you just basically press this plus button and it adds a new keyframe. So if you didn't catch all that, don't worry, we're gonna go over it properly. So we're gonna say drag in a text, and we're gonna pretend that this is our score. So let's just put score. And then we're going to drag in a progress bar and pretend that this is our health. So we've got a progress bar, health bar, and a score bar. I don't know if you're super familiar with widgets, but this panel here is the hierarchy of your canvas panel, or of the screen, whatever you're making on your widget. So in here at the moment, you've got a score and you've got a progress bar, right? We want to animate both of these things. So we're going to make sure that your score is highlighted blue. Go down to animations and plus new animation and call this score. That's basically score animation. Make sure that's highlighted blue. And then we're just going to do the same. Actually, we'll make it go bigger and smaller. So add, you want to animate the text. So now there's nothing on our timeline yet because we haven't added anything. So this is the text block. I'm going to press plus on this, and we're going to make it fade in and out to start with. So now we get this timeline for the render opacity. So that's the text block, the top one. But this render opacity is the render opacity animation for this text block. So we're going to drag that along pretty much the same as what I just did a minute ago. Go to 1.5 seconds. And the way I usually do this when I'm animating stuff is I'll put the keyframes in where I want it to happen. So say I want it to fade in at 0.25 of a second, I'll drag to here and I'll keyframe this. I won't bother with the value yet. I'll just keyframe it. Then I want it to stay on screen to 1.25, keyframe it, and then fade out at 1.5 and keyframe it. Right, so at the moment, all 4 of them keyframes are on the value 1. So all I do is then go to the first one and then put 0 and press enter. And then now that keyframe is 0. And then I scroll to the end, keyframe 0. And now it's just fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out. Very simple, but we're going to also make it go bigger and smaller as well. So we go back to our text block at the top. And the reason why it's called text block _2 is because the text where we've written score, if you look at this information here where it says score on the left, these are the details for this thing, and it's called text block _2. So if I change this to is score, then compile and save, and then I look back at my animation, this thing is called is score now. See, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to make this is score bigger and smaller. So we're going to add there, and that's just on transform. So there's different options for different things you want to do. On the drop down menu, drop it down because we want scale. So this is what I always used to get confused with. You see this bit now, you need to make sure you drag this blue across. Because I used to think once I'd dragged the blue across on the top one, that was it. It was done for all of them. But it's not. You have to drag this blue across every time that you add a new thing. So let's go to scale. And like say, remember before when I just said that I just keyframe it all first and then I put the values in afterwards. So say I wanted it to grow at this point, I'd keyframe here on the X and the Y. Keyframe here, and then go to the end and keyframe again, and then I'd do the values afterwards. So let's make it go to 1.2, and then go to this bit and go to 1.2, and then on the Y let's just do a 1.1, or let's do 1.2 just for argument's sake. And then again, 1.2, and now goes big, and then goes small as it's fading out. And then what you can do if you want, if you don't like the timing of it, you want it to fade in a bit more, you can drag here, you can click on that with left click, scroll over to here, Control C, Control V, and it will paste that one there. So now I can just delete that one, or I can put this one back to 1. Do the same there, highlight that, Control C, Control V, and then paste that one to there. But now we're gonna put this one back to 1. So yeah, that's a very, very basic animation. So you can close that in. And what we can do is we've got that score, that is score, and that's the animation details for it, and you can close it back up, right? You can add the progress bar. So let's rename our progress bar. Let's just call it progress bars, right? And then go back to our animations, click on the score and the one that we did. And remember at the start when we added and it asked us about the text, because we've got the progress bar highlighted, we can add the progress bar into this as well. But actually, you should separate your things actually. Let's delete that. Let's start a new animation. So unclick it, make sure nothing's highlighted. Go to animation and just call this health bar Annie. Right, and then so you've got 2 animations in here now. So then add progress bars, and we're just going to make this simply go big and small. So transform onto scale. Remember the blue bars, drag this across to 1.5. They can be any speed you want, maybe 0.75, maybe 1 second. Go to scale. Key them in first. Remember what I said? Key it all in first. And then maybe make it 1.1. Oh, you're not seeing the movement on that because that's the progress bar. 1.1, 1.1. Go across to there. 1.1. 1.1. So now the progress bar just goes like that. Compile, save. So when I press play, them things score and the progress bar is there, but they're not animating. So to make the animations play, what you need to do is you need to come to your widget again and then go to your graph. And then on event construct, see on this right hand side, look, score animation, score Annie and health bar Annie. They're the two animations that we made. Yeah, so if I go back to the designer and go to animations, score Annie, health bar Annie, they're the ones we made. Right, so go back to the graph again. What we're going to do is just go play animation. Come off event construct and play animation. And then just go score Annie, bring that in. And go into animation. Number of loops. If you put 0, it will loop and loop. See, so the score is just looping and looping. But see, the health bar one isn't doing anything because we haven't told it to, because we're only playing the score Annie animation. So you can copy and paste that. And you can bring the health bar animation in and bring it to there. Now they'll both be going mental. See, the score's going like that and the health bar's going like that. So that's pretty much how you animate widget stuff like progress bars. You can do it with images, you can do it with text, you can do it with anything. But the fun starts when you start adding them to event dispatchers. So in this, you've got play animation, but that's just playing it every time. It's just looping it over and over. So let's delete play animation. And what I did is I set up a couple of event dispatchers earlier. If you want to learn a little bit about event dispatchers, I've done a tutorial about picking up a coin and it's using event dispatchers to do it. But when you've got event dispatchers, you can create them to set animations off. So say, for example, when I pick up a coin, right, I've got this coin over here and I've got it on the event dispatcher that it will basically, when I pick the coin up, it's notifying the event dispatcher. So if I come off third person character and put bind event to coins, no. So this is the event I made. This event dispatcher I made. Just call it make a new custom event. So this isn't a tutorial to show you how to do these, bind these. I'm just showing you what's possible with when you do start using event dispatchers. So now what it's going to do, I'm going to bring that score Annie in, bring it in, play animation. And now what's going to happen is the score animation that I made is only going to play when I pick up a coin. So you see, so score's not doing anything now. Pick up the coin, it fades in, goes small. Pick up the coin, it fades in, goes small. So that's how you trigger animations through event dispatchers, trigger widget animations through event dispatchers. I can also do it with the progress bar. So let me just make a collision damage one, pain causing volume. So just got, basically this is just gonna give my player damage. So I made an event dispatcher that will trigger every time I take any damage. So let's just put this pain causing volume right by the coin so I know where it is. And what you're going to do is I'm going to bind event to the one I made. And then I'm going to drag my health bar animation into there. So what's going to happen now is when I take damage by that block, the health bar is going to go big. When I pick up a coin, the score is going to go. So look, score goes like that. And then when I walk by this damage, health bar goes up and down. Walk by the damage, health bar goes up and down. When I pick up a coin, score comes up. So yeah, really, like the fun starts with animating widgets is when you're using event dispatchers. Is my point really, but where if you just want to simply animate something, you just bring it into the event construct, and it's just basically this node play animation from the event construct. But yeah, if you want to start adding them to event dispatchers, it gets a little bit more interesting. I hope that tutorial makes some sense and it's not too long-winded. But if you do have any questions or if you think that I brushed over anything, just let us know. But yeah, if you got any questions, just let us know. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.